Welcome to Adulting with Joyce Pring. Watch the full video of this episode on my channel, www.youtube.com/JoycePringTV. And if you want to level up your adulting game, check out joycepring.com/collections for my digital products and courses. Don't fret because we have a question, a very long question. So, umpisahan ko na, Lava. Okay. So, if you want to send in your questions or your violent reactions, please don't hesitate to email us.
And your Gcash.
Oh, yes. You can also send us money from Gcash. hello@joycepring.com. So, the title of this one is Help! My boyfriend is almost perfect, except he doesn't fully believe in marriage. Are you ready? Hello, Miss Joyce. I just want to express my admiration for your podcast. I've been a follower since day one, and I really put value on the adulting advices I hear from you. Here's my dilemma. I've been with my boyfriend for 1 year now, and so far, he's great. Hindi sa pag-exaggerate, kumpleto niya ang 5 love languages on how he treats me, except for one thing that bugs me. He is not a big believer of marriage, mostly due to culture, he's European, and the community that he grew up in, hindi na uso ang nagpapakasal, and those that do, madalas naghihiwalay din naman. Also, in his country, children of unwedded parents get the same government benefits as those of married parents, so that's one factor why he does not see the value in it, amongst other things. Now, I have 2 major fears. By the way, he knows that I want to be married in the next 3 years since the start of the relationship. I have set this expectation even before we became official and nag-agree siya. But I'm scared that after X years, he will suddenly leave me saying that our goals are no longer aligned and I would have wasted years on this person. Or he will marry me half-heartedly to not lose me. Then later down the road, if the honeymoon phase ends, baka maisumbat sa akin na ako lang naman talaga yung gustong magpakasal. I know I'm being negative, but I'm just thinking ahead of the possibilities. I really love this person, Miss Joyce, and I want to spend a lifetime with him. But I need someone who is sure of me, enough to fully commit. I know I deserve that because I love 100%, and I've been clear about my intentions and goals from the very start. How do I convince him that marriage is a leap of faith worth taking? From our listener, H. Grabe naman yung question mo, girl.
Bigat naman nun.
Ano masasabi mo dyan, love?
Well, number one, it saddens me. It saddens me. Yun yung thoughts ko before I dive in to her situation. But it kind of saddens me because other countries kind of are taking out the sanctity in marriage, and it sucks, di ba, yung making it easier to get divorced and get annulled, whatever. Nakakalungkot siya. Although naiintindihan ko rin naman that there are outliers in different types of marriages, but it saddens me in general because yung commitment of marriage, yung gravity of the commitment of marriage is being lost. Parang nagiging boyfriend-girlfriend na lang. So, yun yung number one. Pangalawa, one of the first few things that we aligned with each other was the important ones already.
We laid down our boundaries and our expectations. Actually, I laid it down and then you affirmed it. Na you also had the same expectation and boundary. Before pa manligaw si Juancha, I was like, I don't want to play games. I want to get married in the next 3 years. If you don't want to see yourself getting married, don't pursue me na because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time.
Why did we do that? Because we knew that if we did not agree on that, there will be spite.
Yeah.
One way or another. Because, that's just how it goes. Diba? We've heard a lot of stories. These fundamental things in the relationship that they don't agree, but they still pursued.
Yeah, but we know a few people who, 5, 6, 7 years ago got into a relationship and fundamentally they don't already believe on the same things. They don't have the same goals and perspectives, and yet they pursued the relationship thinking, the other person thinking na hindi magbabago yan, mababago ko yung isip niya siguro like maybe 2 years down the road, tas di nagbago, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the road, hindi pa rin, and then 8 years after, boom, naghiwalay sila, and they're already later on in their lives, and like they feel like they wasted so much time because this person who already told them at the beginning of the relationship that they didn't want to get married did not want to get married. Would you look at that?
Magbibigay ako ng illustration ngayon on how this looks like. Imagine, ang ganda ng bahay. Bibili ka ng bahay. Sobrang ganda, sobrang perfect ng bahay. 'Di ba? Tapos sa magandang village, lahat convenient. Dream house mo, everything. Pero yung isang pillar ng bahay sira. Bibilin mo ba o hindi?
Malamang hindi, no?
Malamang hindi kasi
It's bound to dilapidate.
yan, dilapidator
Something.
or
The
or
ceiling's about to fall off.
break down.
Yeah.
Same with the relationship. If the pillars are not strong enough to withhold whatever it is that you're trying to withhold, baliwala yung other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I have a question. Kung talagang hindi big deal yung marriage, bakit hindi na lang magpakasal? 'Di ba? Parang, do you get what I'm saying? Like, if it's really not a big deal, then why not just give it? I think it's because it is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
And you're just not willing to commit to that particularly big deal. Either because you're afraid na magkakahiwalay din kayo, or, di ba, parang it's not something that, pangalawa, I do believe that there's a possibility nga na takot lang tong taong to, and maybe like a few years down the road, they will change their minds, right? But for somebody to outright tell you, I don't want to get married, it means na medyo fixed na yung convictions nila doon. Kasi that's something that they've already believed about themselves and believed to be true in their perception of what reality is, what reality looks like for their relationship and in the future. First, you have to consider, of course, there's a possibility na magbago yung isip nitong taong to. And that's a positive possibility for you, because maybe he's just not at that stage of his life where he's like, you know what, I'm ready to get married. But eventually, after a year or two, diba, biglang boom, let's get married. Let's get this piece of paper because it's something that I also have now believed in. But there's also that bigger chance na never mangyayari yon. So, if you stay in this relationship, you have to really think about that possibility. The negative possibility, like what you're saying in this email. The negative possibility that he will never give you what you want. Marriage. He can love you to the moon and back. But if he doesn't believe in marriage, especially in a culture that doesn't really... What is marriage? Diba? Marriage is given by God. Marriage is ordained by God. It's bringing sanctity to a relationship because God created marriage. So if your partner doesn't believe in that, doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in the sanctity of marriage, then you have to live with that. It's either you live with the consequences of that or you leave. Kasi to expect your partner to change can also breed spite in your heart. So think about that, diba? Think about those possibilities and think about those foundational things. Pangalawa, if you really love this person and you say he's somebody that you see a future with, that you want to spend the rest of your life with, I would seriously suggest couples counseling as early as now. So you two can talk about why he doesn't want to get married or why you want to get married and it's something that you value. Kasi nga, katulad nung sinabi ni Juancho, no matter how beautiful and strong your relationship is, if the foundational thing, which is our belief systems, hindi aligned, eventually magka-crumble yan or mahihirapan kayo parehas. Now, are there outliers na nag-work out kahit na yung isa gusto magpakasal pero yung isa hindi? Of course, there are. But there are more couples and people who have struggled and have broken up or have ended their relationships because the foundational things did not work out. So, I think counseling could really help with that so you can address it, diba? And honestly, it's that. It's either you stay and consider that you may never get married because your partner may never change. That is the reality. Or you leave and you walk away from something that is good. And then eventually, maybe something that is better. Someone who actually aligns with your values, actually sees the importance in marriage. But it's a risk either way, diba?
Yeah.
That's it for this episode of Adulting with Joyce Pring. If you liked this podcast, please don't forget to use the hashtag Adulting with Joyce Pring and also check out www.joycepring.com for the show notes and tag me on social media with at Joyce Pring. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Paalam!